it's Father Robert Balliser, the digital Jesuit.
Hi.
He's also here. In fact, Robert's got his Acer S7 in his lap. I've got my Acer. This is like an Acer S7 convention.
It's a party. It's a party.
I first became aware of this Windows 8 laptop because of Robert, and I fell in love with it, and I've been using it. But we thought, you're looking for a Windows 8 laptop.
I am, yeah. I've been on the search for, like, the perfect one. I've bought a couple and returned them because I didn't like them. Yeah, unfortunately.
So you decided that you didn't want the hefty 13-inch. You're going for the...
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to try the little 11-inch because we haven't even had that one on the show yet.
It's really cute.
It's really, really cute. And it's very small, 11.6 inches by, or 11.2 inches by 7.7 inches wide. And it's super skinny, just like the other one, the 13-inch. Isn't that nice?
No, it's a different cover, though.
It is, yes. This one is aluminum.
It's brushed aluminum. It looks beautiful.
Instead of the white. I prefer this.
You know what? I do
the
too.
white
And look at the fingerprints this picks up.
Yeah,
compared to that beautiful brushed aluminum.
This
Man,
one stays nice. Yeah, it's really,
that's a
really
selling
pretty.
point right there.
Now, when I open
What's the resolution of the screen?
Now, that's one of my biggies about this. So it's a nice resolution. It's the 1920 by 1080.
What?
resolution.
You have the same resolution on there that I have on here.
I seriously do. So check this out. I have it on 1600 by 900, or yeah,
you don't use it at full resolution. Is it too high resolution for you?
If I pull it up, let me apply that.
That's one thing
That's
one thing I found with Windows is that sometimes that's too small.
It's too small for the touchscreen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with this 11.6-inch screen, it is way too small for that huge resolution. It's great that it doesn't have a lip, though, whenever you use the touchscreen. If I go back here, it's nice that there is no lip, so you don't have any problems pulling things over.
And you do that a lot on Windows 8. You're sliding in from the left and right all the time.
So the bezel is not an issue at all. It has a really, really nice quality sound. It has the Dolby home theater in
I was impressed by the sound. I mean, they're small speakers. It's not, don't think it's going to fill the room, but it does sound pretty good.
The webcam's a little iffy. It's only 1.3 megapixels, so it's kind of tiny, but, you know, it works fine for Skype calls or whatever. It's pretty general. The specs are very similar to the 13-inch one, obviously. So it's the i5 CPU, the newest generation one of those. It has 4 gigs of memory and 128 gig solid state drive. And Father Robert actually mentioned to me that it is a, what is it, a RAID?
They did a weird thing on this one. This is 256 gigs, and it's dual drives that are in RAID 0 mode, scary RAID, to look like one drive.
They have a single card, so it looks like an mSATA drive, but it's got an SSD on each side.
And they're even on the 128 gig they're doing that.
They do it with 64 gigabytes.
Interesting.
I found that to be really interesting that they did that in all of their S7
You don't see it. I mean, there's no way you could know unless you used a low-level disk tool and you said, hey, wait a minute, there's 2 drives.
Yeah, exactly. They don't even really mention it on the
But that's
website
why
or
it
anything
starts up so quickly.
Well, I was just about to show that, but as you were talking, it started up. So it's about a 9-second boot time on this thing. How about that? Same thing?
Same thing, yep. It's
unbelievable.
Extremely fast.
And of course, restart from sleep is even faster. It's virtually instantaneous. That's, of course, because of Windows 8 and power management now in the new Intel Ivy Bridge.
It's very nice.
So that is pretty great. So you have the same result on the 11-inch.
Oh, yeah. It boots incredibly fast. It's got a nice bright screen. It also has all the different ports that you'd expect. It has your USB 3.0 powers on the side.
I love USB 3, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
So that kind of makes up for the lack of drive space because you can get a USB 3 thumb drive or external drive, and it's so fast it almost feels like it's an internal drive.
Yes, exactly. And then it's got the micro HDMI right here, so you can use it with a dual monitor.
We should point out these are fan ports, so there is a fan on this, but boy, it's not very loud.
Now, another thing to point out as well with the hardware is it doesn't bend all the way back
like mine
the 13-inch does.
But I can't think of a single reason why I would want to use a laptop that does that. They say
that is something to point out. If you get the 11-inch, don't bend it all the way back.
Yeah, don't think you can. And what they say is because you can't flip this around is that you could be sitting on one side and say, well, here, let me show you, and it'll be upside. I don't really see the point of that, frankly.
I don't really either, but it's one thing to point out that is different.
Does not do that, okay.
The keyboard is nice as well. I noticed it's kind of soft, and I believe that's something that Acer is just known for. When I first started using this, it was hard for me to tell that I was actually typing on it.
I mistype a lot on this keyboard.
Yeah, me too. And so that was just something I had to get used to.
It's a short key press. It doesn't go very deep.
It's very short and it's very soft, so
I make
you
a lot
can't
of
really
mistakes.
feel the responsiveness of it. So my pros and cons for this little guy are, I really like that it's backlit on the keyboard, even though it's not very as responsive as I would like. The touchscreen is very responsive, though. I really like the touchscreen.
Isn't it a beautiful screen? And I can't believe in an 11-inch laptop you've got 1920 by 1080.
It's way too big for me.
Too many. In fact, it makes the icons and text almost too small.
It does.
And as of yet, Windows 8 doesn't really have a lot of fine control over how big icons are. So you just end up running it at a lower resolution.
I completely agree.
That's too bad in a way that you have to do that.
I turned down the resolution.
How heavy? Let me just.
It's only 2.6 pounds.
2 points. I mean, that's one of the things I like about this. This is probably the thinnest and lightest.
Than the 13-inch.
These are the thinnest and lightest Windows 8 devices out there, I think. They're really, really nice.
It's so nice. We could just like start juggling. It's great.
Have an S7.
Oh, no,
I
don't.
This is like serve drinks.
That's what this is. It's a serving tray.
Yeah, it's a serving tray.
Okay. Did you have any cons?
I did. I had a couple of cons. It's the resolution I find is a problem when it's so high. Which I guess is a good thing. It's so high. It's hard to see.
Well, they're phones with small screens that have that resolution.
That's true. So it's almost like Retina on an Acer. And then the design I had a couple of small issues with. Micro HDMI instead of full, which I guess they put in because of
there's no room for
tiny width of this. And also the power button on the side, just like you said, Father Robert, with your review, it is very easy to press this. I did. I did it once, and then I learned from my mistake.
Do not.
I also noticed the lip is a little tough to get up, but it's not a big issue.
Now this is cheaper. What are the prices?
Well, you would think it was. So let me show
not?
you. Yeah, let me show you the website.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe you just buy it because you want it to be small.
Yeah, so
and not
I
because
think
you're going to save money.
If you wanted to purchase this, you would get it because of the size.
It's $11.49.
This one is $11.49 on the website.
And that's the i5 version?
This is the i5. Okay. So with the exact same specs for the 13-inch, you go from $10.99 on Amazon to $10.99 for the 13-inch.
Same price. So really, it's no cheaper. It's just a different screen size for the people who want a smaller screen.
So if
battery
I wanted
life?
to choose, the battery life is excellent. It's like 6 hours maximum.
That's a little better actually than the big boy.
Yeah, and that's what pretty average user base. If I'm using this a lot during the day, it cuts down to like 4 hours.
Now the big boy comes for the price with 2 additional connectors. It has an Ethernet to USB connector. It has to because there's no Ethernet port on this, and a micro HDMI to VGA, it looks like. Is it digital VGA or is it, and it must be digital VGA.
I found that weird. I would rather it
Who
be
wants
micro
that?
HDMI to the regular
HDMI. Yeah.
And it also comes with a mouse and a nice little external battery.
I did like that.
3 hours.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
okay.
This one comes with an external battery.
So do we get that?
A nice little screw-on one.
You've got one of those, but you had to pay extra for it, didn't you, Father?
These are rare. You can't actually buy these yet.
So that is a reason to get the 11-inch.
Yeah, it does.
And how much more battery life does that external?
About like 2-3 hours.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't get those for the 13-inch.
And it's nice. It's a little screw-on one. It is big and bulky, which is why I didn't bring it out
tend not to use those. I just say, it's time to go to bed.
I find myself not using it. I just left it in the package.
It's time to stop playing SimCity and go to bed.
It's got a nice little cheapo mouse that comes with it, and it also comes with a nice leather case that fits this perfectly.
Pleather, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real leather.
Pleather, yes.
Yeah. I like the mouse because it comes bonded. It's, I guess, a USB mouse, but it already comes bonded to the laptop, so it's ready to go right away.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different pointing devices on here. There's a touch screen, there's a trackpad, and you have a USB real mouse. I think that's a nice touch from Acer.
It is.
So, buy, try, don't buy?
So I give it a try, specifically because for some people, this might not be what they're looking for with the size.
Screen? Yeah.
Because of the screen. I'd say upgrade to the other one that costs the same amount on Amazon.
You know, it's funny because I had an 11-inch MacBook Air and a 13-inch MacBook Air. Same exact situation, and I ended up preferring the 13-inch because 11 was just a little too small.
Me too, yeah.
But the difference on that is the MacBook Air 11-inch is a much lower screen resolution. You're getting all the screen real estate on there.
Yes,
just in a very tiny package. Well, let's trade, and let me just try that for a little bit.
Let me just hold on to this one, and I'll go home.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't mind this, actually.